Welcome back to Pro League. We have 2 more series to get through before the day is done, and so is the regular season. I am your host, Katie Bedford, joined by Nameless Study and Pac-Man here on the desk. Now, before we get into things, we want to talk about the Game Fuel Open Bracket a little bit. You just watched that there in that rank up. Let's take a look at the player who recently transitioned from the Mountain Dew at Game Fuel Open Bracket to a pro team. It's Vortex, who's been on Heretics this week. Now, Vortex, it seems like he's been doing all right for Heretics. They've been struggling overall, though. They're over 0-3 in the week.
Yeah, I feel like this team is just, they've gotten worse. It's just, obviously the roster change has a lot to do with it, with people running different things, like Methods going to that ICR. But Vortex coming in as his main SOG role, he's dropping a .95 on the week. And that's something that I wasn't really expecting out of Heretics. We saw Lucky, we saw Journey. These used to be the superstars of this team. They would always be putting the backpack basically for this team. And also with medals. But ever since picking up Vortex, it's just, the pacing just looks really weird for me.
Before, their team always played the best when Method Sick ran a SOG.
Yeah.
They switched back multiple times, and they picked up a guy who I think they just didn't fit what Heretics was best at. When he ran a SOG, his stats were never good, Method's, but their teamwork was always a lot better with Sucre running the main AR. They got rid of him for whatever reason that they have amongst themselves. And now, as you can see, it's affecting them again negatively.
The thing is, I don't even think Methods is playing that bad. I just think their teamwork is completely out of whack. Like, before when they had Sucre and he was running that main AR and Methods was running a SOG, Methods would get bodied, but at least he'd be pushing with the rest of the guys, and Metals, Journey, and Lucky would be going off, and they had, direction when they're playing the game. Now it just seems like they're just completely out of whack. That first series in their honeymoon period when they played against Optic Gaming, they looked okay. But that was because Lucky Metals had like the series of their lives. Lucky had 1.4s across the board, and he was just going off. Like, Lucky's an incredible player, but is he going to do that consistently? Probably not, right? So I just think their teamwork's completely out of whack. It's nowhere near their last team because Sucre was an incredible talent. Obviously, there's something happened that we don't know about on that team, which, caused them to release him. So I'm hoping that they can figure it out, right? Because this is a team that I was very excited to watch early in the season, and now their matches have been underwhelming.
Yeah, and again, it's just constant switches from whether it's players to specialists to roles to guns. Heretics never seems to be able to settle, and maybe that's what's causing a lot of their issues. They will be going up against Gen.G, who, again, they got second at Anaheim, performing very well this week as well. 3-0 on their week, undefeated. Looking as strong as ever, so
something our League Ops guy, Rami, keeps saying it, because it's crazy.
It is.
If Spacely wins this Search and Destroy, right, this Game 2, and it doesn't go to Game 5, or if he just wins in Game 5 and wins both searches, he will have not lost a Search and Destroy in Pro League this year.
The entire year.
That's nuts. That is an incredible statistic.
Especially with how Black Ops 4 Search is.
Yeah.
Like, you just run the direction.
It's trade.
Just
there's
trade.
specialists involved. There's a lot of stuff that can sway in the opposite direction. So yeah, tip your hat to him, because as well in the beginning of the game when people were started figuring out how to play Search and Destroy, Gen.G were the first team to start to wrap those bombs back and forth. Also, that guy on your screen, Nubsy, their coach. He's a good coach, man. They've been coming up with some good strats. They give him some high praise. We don't talk about him too often, but their Search and Destroy has been pretty great throughout the entire season.
Now, focusing on that S&D, take a look at Envoy's stats, because Havoc, Mox, and Envoy are all in the top 10 S&D KD during Pro League, and so maybe they can push Spacely to that perfect record. But again, continuing to be kind of a rock study for this team.
Envoy is the rock for this team for me. He's the one that's going to be able to lead the pack. Obviously, you have Havoc, who's a tremendous SOG player right next to him, and Mox, a tremendous ICR player. But Envoy, ever since he came onto this team, he's just been a totally different player for this team. And I know he was dropped for Spacely, and now Spacely is back on the roster. So obviously, there's no bad blood there. But the development out of this player, just with this team, since they've all learned it from the beginning, how to play together, and just looking how they formed, I believe that they're the second best team in this game, and it's just a little separation between 100 Thieves and them, because 100 Thieves have a team full of champions, and obviously these guys have never won.
They're still learning.
So they're still learning. They just have little mistakes that are going to cost them, but I wouldn't be surprised if Gen.G were able to put up a good fight.
I think the biggest thing for Gen.G to get over the hump is just to have like Mox show up in those big time matches. You got to have an AR player that can go toe to toe with players like Octane, with those great AR players, right? Because you got the sub power, man. You have Envoy, you have Havoc. Both those guys are amazing, and you're good enough in Search and Destroy to compensate for not being the best respawn team. So I just think like if Mox steps up and Spacely step up in those later matches, like these guys can be incredible. Because I think that was the problem. Like Nogfin would have an off series, and Mox would have an off series, and I think that's what held them back.
Pac, do you think we might see any? Not typical picks from Gen.G, whether maps or otherwise, since this is, everything's locked in for them. It's against Heretics. Maybe practice other things?
Maybe, but I think that they're also still new with Spacey. Like, they're a solid team, but they're still new with Spacey, so I don't think they'll try too much. And Heretics is struggling, right? So I don't know. I don't even think this is the best opponent to do that. I don't think that you should try things against teams that you're gonna beat anyways, or that you should beat anyways, because you're not gonna learn much. You should just go out and win. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, on that note, we will see if Gen.G can go out and win, or Heretics can snap their losing streak this week and end at least with 1 win. But we're gonna hand it over now to Merc and Maven to see what happens.
Thank you, everybody. So I mean, the Final Four teams are obviously all playoff bound. We've got nothing to worry about that. There's no real big storylines left heading into Miami, but yeah, I guess for me on one side for Gen.G, Study said the gap between them and 100 Thieves is pretty close. I think there's a little bit more separation there, certainly. So now in the next 2 weeks, can you close the gap somehow through this match, through scrims?
I mean, there's still an opinion that people think Gen.G isn't the second best team in the world, right? Like, obviously, I think you kind of have to hand them that title because of their performance at Anaheim, but I think you can argue that there's still a lot of teams that are capable of beating them just with talent. So I don't know why that is, but people are still trying to figure out this Gen.G team.
Well, question for you, and a team that we would maybe compare them to, somebody like Optic, right? Top 3 team. How much does it matter to you? Because I know league matches aren't always the most important thing, but how rough Optic's week's been versus Gen.G going 3-0. Where do you put those two squads right now?
I am very worried about Optic Gaming. I very much am. From an effort standpoint, I don't know. They're still figuring out roles. To me, it just feels like, listen, you lose to E United today. It happens. Like, you lost to a tough team. 100 Thieves lost to someone last week. But it just feels like the teams they should be beating. Again, I chalked the Elevate game as a loss. It's a loss. They know they should have lost that game in a round 11 game.
And we'll spend more time on Optic in the next series, but I guess I'm just asking you because Gen.G's gotten all their wins.
They've handled business.
Optic hasn't exactly done that because they've had 2 close series against teams they should smoke and got beat by MB. So I'm just wondering if it's changed your mind at all this week heading into Miami, because that's.
But I guess the argument is maybe Gen.G's taking these a little bit more serious because they have Space League. Right?
Could be.
They're trying to figure out those, they're fitting him back into this roster. I don't know. It's just, we talk about you want to see the top teams at Pro League. It may not mean a ton to them. They're in the playoffs, but I think from what we've seen throughout this year, the team that has really shown up well at the Pro League has gone on and to do well. You can even argue won the next tournament.
Yeah, with that been really good that final week leading into it, right?
I would say the only one who we thought performed the highest and didn't do well at the event was probably United, right? But United still got top 4, top 6, but we all thought like there was a good chance they would, with their win over 100 Thieves in the Pro League, we were like, holy smokes, like what's going on?
Well, what about the Heretics end of this now? I think both these teams, up until before the previous event, would be like dark horse teams for us. Teams that can make a run into the top 6, maybe shock somebody. They have this team change. It hasn't been a good week, but do you still believe they can get something together before Miami?
I mean, I'm hoping so. This team was fun to watch. I think the desk was really touching on it.
It's one of the best stories of this year.
We've just been love watching their improvement, playing in North America for so long. They go through with the roster change. There was obviously some butting of heads, and Methods really wanted to run main ICR. It's just at the end of the year, it looks like we're going to have a restart here. His envoy's not moving, but at the end of the year, it's going to be, was that the correct decision? Right? It's just what it is. And I mean, we have to look at that with all roster changes, because I'll tell you what, with Sukri, they're not 0-3 this week. That's just not, they're not.
Well, it's tough because this isn't true for every team, but there have been a lot of teams that we've watched get better over the course of the year. And I think Heretics is a team that we're really excited to see them push that ceiling. Like, how far can they go? And it just sort of stopped, right? Like, it never got to where we thought maybe they were capable of. Maybe we're making our top 3 run an event like a Reciprocity, like shocking some people. And yeah, it just feels like that's kind of out the window. But I'm hoping it's not.
It feels like they've plateaued.
Like it's passed. Like their time has passed almost in a way.
Well, the big question we'll have to ask these guys is, they've only had 1 week here with the new roster. What about these next couple of weeks to Miami? I don't know if they're staying here and practicing with someone. We'll have to ask them and figure that out. Because if they're staying here for a few weeks, maybe we brush this off as you're fitting a new player and you're figuring out a new play style. If you have to go back to Spain, try to play teams back home, that makes me very nervous. That makes me, nervous. I would be happy if I'm playing them round 1 in the playoffs.
No, totally understand that. But thank you for your patience. For those of you at home, we'll get hopped into this in a minute. Maybe a problem with classes, not sure. We've had a couple blunders with the players already today, I believe, just getting locked and loaded to kick off this series. But Heretics, a chance to show that maybe they're finally putting something together with this squad. And for Gen.G, I talked to Havoc a little bit beforehand. I was like, is this going to be a quick series? You guys actually get scrims in before this, because yesterday they didn't, because Moxie and his hair and all that fun stuff. He's like, yeah, we got scrims in, but they were iffy. They were okay. I think they scrimmed to United, he said, and he said a little bit sloppy.
Okay.
We'll see if that affects them all here. But he also said, he's like, honestly, like, what happens in scrims doesn't usually matter. Like, we play different once we get on the stage, so. Yeah,
I think everybody would give you that argument, right?
Yeah.
Scrims are always going well, right? Or scrims, yeah, we're getting better.
Yeah.
Never a negative sense of.
Do you think there's like a renewed sense of pressure kind of on this team now that they've made a team change? They've gotten that top 2. I guess the outlook for them a little bit different than it's been all year.
I think my expectations is top 3 are bust now, right? Like, I feel like you've gotten top 2. You could argue Anaheim was a weaker tournament without Splice and Luminosity, sure. But I mean, they've proved they can beat everybody but 100 Thieves. I mean, they've proved that they have everyone's number. Nobody's really been able to touch them at Anaheim and since then. So, I mean, Gen.G is a contender now. They absolutely are, and we'll have to see if the roster change is going to pay off.
Yeah, and their first round matchup is going to be against Splice. So that is and that's another team that we're not sure on. Like, we expected big things from Splice, and they haven't exactly clicked with the newcomer and Hook. So
there's still some time.
Yeah, one team in Gen.G is trying to maybe figure things out with Spacely. Splice trying to figure things out with Hook, who's going to be the hotter squad getting into it. And they'll match up, I believe, on Saturday, because Friday will be our play-in matches, and then we'll focus on playoffs of the week.
Well, no, that's a 2-3, right?
Oh, wait, that is Friday. You're right. The 2-2-3s are. Correct. Let's start off map 1 now. 4 go down, I believe, for Heretics. That'll be the all clear. Spacely and Envoy still going to be standing tall inside of elevator. Like, the teammates spawned out pipes, trying to rally over mid-map to get in for the reinforcements. A split spawn from Heretics might pay dividends as they're able to collapse on both sides before the players mid-map can get back in. So that'll set them up nicely. Plus, you already have on rotation Method, Sick, and Vortex controlling that right side of the map.
You gotta find Havoc, though. You see number 7. He's the guy in the window, and I don't think Methods is going to be ready for this, but Havoc actually just goes towards that elevator. So throughout all of that, Havoc stayed alive. He played it patiently on the other side of the map. Spacely wins his one-on-one, but Methods is there. But Gen.G at least finds some of that scrap time towards the end, and now they can fight for spawns. As you see, Lucky, he's going to spawn all the way out. So nice patience from Havoc.
That's one of those situations where your death's just come at an inopportune time. 3 drop for Heretics. 1 ends up spawning out, but you still have a presence at the back. Still have the safe spawn in Lucky. But as Envoy wins his gunfight, now those 5 arrows starting to collapse from Gen.G as they try desperately to get inside. Thus far, both teams trading it out evenly. Lucky through with a double as well. It's been a good job just making sure this isn't comfortable time for Heretics. They've had the back spawn, but they haven't really accrued any kind of time.
Yeah, we were just on board too in Methods, and that's such a tough position as an ICR because you want to get involved more. But, I mean, slotting into Orange Room, you aren't going to help your team much as Envoy's able to find 3, and Gen.G, yeah, they just bullied their way through the front door. A couple of Heretics members do spawn out, so they're going to try to fight over mid-map, and you see they're just going to stay still for the next hill. But Gen.G do a great job getting a lot of this time without having back spawns.
Yeah, it felt like Heretics got 5 or less points considering they had that spawn the whole time. But yeah, the deficit elevator came in a tough spot. Gen.G, as soon as the new hardpoint pops, you already have people inside a lobby, and they made it messy early. Now it's a 4-man hit through the back steps. Massive presence from Gen.G. Lucky, a lot of work to do, and he's going to get caught. Can't get around the edge as the opening kill comes in from Gen.G. And once again, just making it difficult for Heretics to get set up and get comfortable with the next hardpoint.
Yeah, you feel like Heretics has to take advantage of this. Having those spawns, getting that time. They are able to get Envoy out of the hill. They find 3 kills in the feed. You still have a couple of split spawns. You have one player just staying all the way towards that elevator. That was Moss. Journey picks that up now. Now they realize where the spawns have come in for Gen.G. But a nice hold so far from Heretics, but can they stop the push? The SOG duo, Havoc, Envoy, they make it tough, and that was with the SOG. Spacely with some beams. A 3 SOG meta right now from Gen.G.
Yeah, I think Journey only had 5 in the clip too, so he was in trouble regardless, but Spacely absolutely lasers him from distance. Now we'll focus on the rotation over to Pipes. The last hard point in the first set. Cluster out from Envoy will funnel them in. Who's there to pick it up? It's going to be Spacely. How much damage can he do? Nice strafe, but not able to connect on the shot. So once again, Heretics set up early. Can they actually hold the tie? Because it feels like with their rotations and their spawns, like this should be like a 20-point Heretics lead, but Gen.G have done such an excellent job in transition in the first push.
And I guess that's maybe one advantage to running 3 Sogs. You're going to be a little bit quicker. You don't have to worry about the spawns as much. Yes, you would love them, but you can obviously, they can still make this game very messy. They have the lead as well. It just feels like there's always another player right now for Gen.G who's locking it down. Envoy, he's going to take a fall off the map.
They're just like gnats, man. They're just everywhere, just swarming the hard point. We saw a lot of success for them. I can't remember if it was yesterday or the day before, where we saw this strategy out of them and just completely overwhelmed their opponent time and time again. It's been a great start from Havoc at 14-8. Heretics still holding on to a narrow lead, 5-point advantage as we get into the second set. Havoc does have his grab slam locked and ready to go, trying to set it up. I thought he was going to go for it. Probably would have had 3, but he still stays up. Hits the hip fire through the heel, snap back to the mid, but Lucky has the melee for him. Still has a presence of his teammates here, though. 175 off streaks as Mox. Lead change now to Gen.G. We'll see how far they can push this out.
Yeah, it's been fun watching Havoc play at this level, because I think early on in the year he didn't have the impact he wanted, but the last few months, ever since really they've gotten Envoy, this duo, they've taken turns, but Havoc recently has really stepped on up, playing at a high level that we expected from him years and years ago, and it feels like he's starting to hit that stride. Really, I feel it's his confidence, right? He just feels like he's comfortable. You see him on stage always having fun.
Just look at the 2 Sogs. Havoc 17, 18-9, 16-11 from Envoy. They are just flying Heretics, and what was a 5-point lead? It was 85-80 Heretics in the first set of rotations. They didn't get a single point at Elevator. Now at risk of losing this rotation here as well. Heretics in trouble of getting buried as Envoy gets caught. I want to go to an Astro Gaming listen in with Heretics.
Vamos izquierda. Con 2 top. Lo vi uno. Ventana nuestra en boy. ¿Qué hace? Por medio. Un tiro tiró de Havoc, chicos. Hay uno para Cali del siguiente. A por mí de Havoc, chicos. Se han parado. Son 2 U. Y uno Bacali, hay uno por Bacali, Son dos millas, chicos. Toca medio. Mira que lo habían matado, tío.
A fantastic hold at Elevator for Gen.G is followed up by a great hold at Orange for Heretics. But in the hard point right now is Gen.G. Grab slam in. Havoc gets 3. Method 6 shuts him down, but not before. Mox is able to get a streak. Havoc is able to get a streak. Havoc now at 24-14. Having himself a map.
He's able to find that lightning strike. Now you have Major Maniac with the Tempest. All the kills right now going the way of Gen.G and Heretics. They're just waiting for their teammates to come up off spawn. But Gen.G have them just locked in towards the back. There's been no contest until right now. Now you have Envoy starting to work on some streaks as well. And he finds the second. Now 80 points away. Just made it look easy. Can he find the streaks? That'll be even more for Gen.G.
Looks like he's just going to hold the time for now, get a little bit more points based off the objective. So we'll switch focus over to Pipes, our last hard point in the second rotation, spatially with some nice shots. We'll get back over to Envoy when he gets involved in the action. No, sorry, he died, so I don't believe he got the streaks. Nope, he didn't get anything. He got picked up, and now 1 lightning did come in. So Mox still has his to use. Everything else out. He's got the vision pulse as well. Envoy about to pick up his War Machine, spatially very close to his Purifier. Similar story on the other end of it with regards to the Purifier and the War Machine of Heretics. So some of the heavy hitters going to be coming in soon, and honestly, the use of those might decide the game.
It just felt really throughout this entire game. Heretics have had a couple of opportunities to get back in it to hold their lead, but Gen.G, they've kept this lead, and now it continues to grow with 15 seconds left. You see Heretics already focusing on Elevator. Envoy's going to use the War Machine, not connect with anything. This is when you're going to want to use your Purifier methods. I don't know if he's pulled it out yet or if he's just hanging on to it, but he doesn't have it quite yet. This is exactly the hill that you wanted. So a kill for him would be huge.
See if he can get it. See if he can get it. Vision pulse from Mox. How many kills do they get behind it? Vortex War Machine comes up empty, and what it's been throughout, it's the SOG story. Envoy and Havoc get 4. There's a team kill in there for Gen.G, but not going to matter as they're able to lock down Elevator. And now Spacely, does he think about the Purifier? It's exactly what he's going to do. Purifier out. Heretics is cooking. 165 off streaks. They can't quite close it out, but they can get darn close, about 5 points away if they get the remaining time. Plus, you get some streaks. You think this game is done, but look at Havoc and Envoy here, man. If I'm any team, I just don't want to play them on this map and mode combination.
Yeah, I mean, it's either this or Seaside, though, right? I mean, you have to play them on a solid map, so it's really just pick your poison.
Does it feel like, due to the nature of it, like, are vetoes more important in this game than maybe some of the past titles?
I would say, like, probably due to control the side, but maybe now with the meta, the way it's sort of shaping out, like Gen.G, they like to play a 3-SOG meta. I don't think 100 Thieves is going to want to do that. We know they like to force as many Maddox and ICRs as possible, so it's going to be interesting at playoffs and champs. You know who's playing what and how teams perform on each other's map picks.
Mox with a nice little double will close out the game. Gen.G get the hard point victory. They kept it messy earlier when they were playing from the back point and the hard point. Then it was calm, cool, and collect as they shut it down in the final several hard points. It felt like it was so contested early, but once they got rolling, man, like Heretics just couldn't touch the point.
Yeah, it just feels like the specialist usage out of Gen.G is just on point. We saw it, I believe it was right before this, where they used the Vision Pulse by Mox, and what that allowed Spacely to do was flank through the blue base, get behind Methods. Methods Sick was the guy that was getting close to the Purifier. If he's able to find 1 kill, he can get the Purifier on it, he basically negates the Vision Pulse, right? They still have to run into him into a Purifier. That doesn't end up happening because he gets taken down. Spacely then earns his, gets inside. It just feels like, you know, you hear a lot of teams, the power plays that come from those specialists, they're not good enough, but it always feels like Gen.G, they're making the right decisions at the right time.
A nice win there in map 1, and now when we talk to the search and destroy, yeah, what the desk was talking about, I know, I don't want to say there's an asterisk on the stat exactly, but in a way, just because Spacely wasn't in the league the entire time. Honestly, but still, there's enough
pretty
maps.
Impressive that they're coming back and still winning.
There's enough maps in it that it's ridiculous that they've won that many search and destroys with him on the team. We'll see the final play there from Mox to close it out, and then we'll kick things over to Jess, who talked to Envoy before this series.
Thank you, Clint. That's right. And Envoy said, well, last time we had kind of a tough time when we were here at Pro League, so we really want to end on a good win this time and finish off that 4-0 record that we were going for this week. And for this match versus Heretics, he said they're kind of looking at it as a practice match and working on things like fundamentals and hardpoint. Now, from Heretics, I spoke to Lucky, and, you know, kind of same thing. They're trying to do everything they can to just get a win and get in as many reps and as much practice as they can. He knows they've already clinched their playoff spot, but he says that they need to work on things like communication and their control map. So we'll see how the rest of the series goes. Clint and Joe, back over to you.
Thank you, Jess. Any thoughts on what the two players had to say?
Well, I think for Heretics, one of the things, obviously it's hard when you're 0-3. It's been a long week. It is very hard to have a lot of energy, but I think one thing Sukri always brought to this team, you would hear him yelling. They would get fired up behind him. He had like a Clayster-esque passion behind it, right? Like he just felt like when there was a big play, you heard Heretics. I'll tell you what, this week you haven't heard much Heretics, but again, you have to win maps to hear them. It's just, it's a difference.
Easier to get it going when you're playing well. But it actually reminded me, I kind of forgot that leading into Anaheim, how bad, I think Gen.G were like 2-5 or something. They had that really bad 2-week stretch.
So they went to a boot camp. Yep.
This is going to be a bit different for them. Like you're 2-5 heading into Anaheim. This time you might go 4-0. You're winning out, you're feeling a little bit comfortable. I don't know if it'll affect anything, but obviously very different lead-ups to the actual major events.
Well, after that, yeah, they had a boot camp where they, not with the best teams, right? But
what was it, EG and
Reciprocity, I want to say?
I think that's right.
But obviously not the best teams, but they got reps in, and that obviously helped them get to a grand final. I'm sure with the amount of time that we have until Miami, I'm sure there's going to be a couple of boot camps from these teams to try to prepare more, get them in the right mindset. Because I think when those happen, it's sort of like, hey, we're almost to that time. Like we have to, it's playoffs, it's champs. Like let's go, let's get this going.
But I'm not shocked to hear basically what Envoy was saying. Like we're just tighten up the fundamentals, get everything ironed out as well as we can leading into Anaheim, get rid of the little mistakes. For the most part, not too much to criticize in the map one. Their SOGs dominated. Can't think of any glaring issues that they had.
I mean, if you're Gen.G, I'm sure you're loving playing 3 frequencies to start this series. I mean, heck, even Hacienda with just the pace that you can play out with that map.
And this is one of the big maps from Anaheim. Remember the map 5 against Optic? Optic was undefeated going into that. Gen.G was the first team in months to beat them on this particular map. I think it was Mox had that crazy, what was it, like a 1v3, and a 1-on-1 with Dashy. There was that wild scenario. So we've seen them in some big moments recently on this particular map. So they obviously have their reps. Now, what can they do against Heretics, and can they remain undefeated with Spacely in the squad?
Yeah, and this has always been a go-to map for Heretics as well. I feel like we've watched them a ton on frequency.
This and like Hacienda.
Yep.
Round 1 underway. Offense first to Heretics. Watch Method's POV as he gets to the top window. We get right over to Elevator. It's an onslaught, but it ends up being a trade as a team kill comes in. Envoy can't quite get away with his life as he runs into another player there inside of the orange lobby. Spacely on the flank is going to be the one that can really do the damage.
Yeah, looks like Lucky was waiting for him. Now he calls this out to his teammates. Beautiful. Oh, nope. I was going to say beautifully done, but beautifully done by Spacely.
That just can't happen.
No, it cannot. I think they were just one step, ahead of themselves, because after you get that kill, you rotate that bomb to B, you get the free plant. Instead, it's a 2 versus 2.
Mox just got the information that they moved towards Elevator. Let's see how they opt to play this out. Both sites wide open right now as the map is kind of flipped with Gen.G towards the Heretic spawn.
So this is one of those situations. I think you know where a player is. You plant the bomb, but now it's too late. Like, you've sat in Elevator for 5 seconds. Methods, though, with a big gunfight and win. Lucky, gonna finish that plant.
He loses that, they lose the round. But big one-on-one win there from Methods. Now, Major Maniac, he's had a lot of clutches this year. Can he get one more? They're both there. They slide out and challenge. Lucky takes the gunfight. Methods goes huge in the 2v2. Spacely on Gen.G gave him a chance, but they can't take the round.
I mean, you just gotta, you talk about that time and the difference that it can make. The 5 to 10 seconds that Heretics is just sitting there in Elevator doing absolutely nothing. That's time you can plant the bomb. Instead, you give Gen.G an opportunity to read it right. I mean, yes, you allow Methods to win a big one-on-one, but
honestly, I think
it gets scary.
I think he might be able to peek that and shoot the bomb planter's foot, honestly. He might have been able to get an angle, not even worry about that one-on-one. At least it looked like it was sticking out a bit. Obviously tough to think about when you peek first and you're getting shot at, but
hello.
Right above one. Oh, he saw his gun. He should see his gun. Easy kill. Mox gets one on the other end though, so it's going to be a 4 versus 4 early, just like the previous round. Mox some nice damage in mid-map. Almost feeds the second one into Envoy, but they're able to stay up. As I say that though, Envoy drops 3 versus 3 now.
Journey's done a great job defending his ladder so far. Found 2 players in that situation. Vortex does get singled out. I think they thought a lot of the presence was towards the B side, but Gen.G able to rotate that bomb. That's something that the desk talked about, where their rotations on the map just seem to be on point. When they're making play calls, whoever's making those calls, everybody's listening to that person, and they're just going for it.
Nice rotation. Easy cleanup in the 3v1, and that'll bring us tied up at 1-1. We'll see the best play now from Mox's POV. A rare SOG in his hand at the tail end of it, just the final, one of the final kills. Had a chance to take that round 1 as well, but fell a little bit short. Spacely, nice start at 3-1, leading the troops. See what they do defensively this time. It looks like it's going to be very aggressive at B. Havoc and Envoy, the 2 SOGs, look like they are flying towards that B side. They've already got position kind of towards that mid-map point.
Yeah, I think they saw Lucky, though, but you do have 3 players here. It almost feels like they're waiting to just go. See number 10, that's Major Maniac. He gets that information. Behind that, they fly on out. They're able to find a couple of kills. The rotation immediately over to the A side, but this is the bomb. That's Vortex with the bomb. So now bomb down in a terrible position for Heretics. Just feels like he got caught. Methods and Metals were like, all right, we're going to A. We know where they're all at, but you need the bomb.
And Gen.G has baited that so well. Like they waited for the aggression behind the sniper rifle, and they're able to catch him. So nice round there Nice play call from Gen.G. Major Maniac, good job getting out of that. Can't get picked in this and give them a chance. But they are able to recoup the bomb. Metal's trying to push over. Doesn't have Dead Silence to work with. Havoc has spotted him. Stun doesn't connect. Nice slide out and challenge. It's a messy gunfight, but the end result is a Heretics kill. Not going to be able to get the bomb planted, though. The flank then comes in. Mox and Envoy close it out, and it's back-to-back rounds for Gen.G.
Yeah, the great thing about that Gen.G sort of setup is it's a bit of a trap, right? You have a couple of players who aren't showing. The key guy is Major Maniac bottom ladder, because basically what the offensive team thinks when they peek that, they think there's a guy out wide towards your stairs or inner pipes. Then they think there's a guy watching the cross. And Major Maniac is that guy, but he's calling out how many cross and then when to pop out. And then those two Sogs who are near that bomb site, they're able to just execute. And, well, they find that first blood.
The trap plays out perfectly for Gen.G.
We see a setup like that sometimes on, like, the B bomb side of Gridlock, right? When you have a sniper inside a Broken. Maybe a player or two behind the truck just not moving.
First blood to Heretics this time around. Major Maniac tries to get in for the trades. One to his right, one to his left. Bunch of damage done, and somehow he wins another gunfight. His teammates able to clean up the remaining scraps. And Lucky gonna see himself potentially off the map. There's 55 seconds remaining. Bomb has now been planted.
Yeah, I think he's gotta get off. He's gonna go for it. Last day, right? Might as well go for it.
Might as well.
Got nothing to lose.
Should get peeked from top middle, and there it is. Envoy easily seals the kill. Nice post-plant setup there from Gen.G. Now 3 in a row for them. They've taken over this search and destroy.
Yeah, they just go from bottom middle.
It's just Major Maniac just does too much here. I mean,
they aren't even ready for it, right? Like, where's the pressure from Heretics? If you're going to set up, 2-3 on that bomb site, someone's got to be watching the ladders. You're just leaving one. You're taking a gamble at that point.
Well, you have 3 players looking out, right?
Yep.
Gen.G create a bit of chaos, and it pays off. Envoy, 5-2, 300 off streaks. That's an easy kill. Cluster out to delay any kind of plant. They have to try and slide across it. Think he gets a hit marker that feeds a kill right into Spacely, so they'll retain numbers. Spacely gets double challenged, though, and falls. Envoy still working on those streaks top mid. Now wants to slide in. Just needs to get one. Gets a tag. Major Maniac finishes it. And there's a lightning. And the advantage to Gen.G to look to a 4-1 lead. Mox get the spot. Mox backs up. Only 13 in the clip, but it's enough for Envoy. Gets the second streak, and then Major Maniac closes it out.
In these last couple of rounds, I mean, Heretics is just kind of stacking one site and saying, we'll take you in a 5-on-5, but Gen.G's winning them. And I feel like early in the year, that was Heretics' game plan, right? Like, we just want to take a 5-on-5 with you, use our talent, use our gun skill. They were sort of agents of chaos, if you want to call it that, in search and destroy, but just not coming out on top right now.
Anything they can change up to try and fix this a bit against Gen.G, or Gen.G too strong in search?
Yeah, I think Gen.G are pretty darn. I mean, yeah. Your new guys got to get a couple of kills, right? Yeah, that would be a good start.
Anything would help? Anything's better than the 0?
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like they are playing behind these streaks for now. Envoy likely going to try and open up the site. Hellstorm up. Trying to wrap it out. He does. Lucky and Metals can't get away with their lives. Nice streak call by Envoy. Early 5v3.
I mean, you just have to stay under your pipes. You just stay in inner pipes. You don't have to move.
I thought they were fast, Joe.
Missiles are pretty fast.
Yeah. Pop up a challenge from Havoc.
Hold on.
He gets caught. Major Maniac drops at the same time, so quickly it becomes a 3 versus 3.
No, I think Envoy's just backing up here to play his life. He can call in the lightning if stuff gets messy, but yeah, they're going right towards him. Not ready for it with 25 seconds left now. Heretics, they have to find the last couple of players, but the big thing is the time. They have to defuse this bomb. And what was a 5 versus 3, now a 1v3 for Spacely. Can't finish the first, can't finish it, and they're able to clutch it.
Huge clutch from Heretics in the 3v5. You think it's done? when they get caught with the Hellstorm, but somehow they bring it back. And was that an example of just some small mistakes there from Gen.G? You take a couple gunfights you likely don't need to in a 5 versus 3.
Yeah, there was one elevator, there was one top middle. I think with those last couple come in. And I think Envoy's thinking, I'm going to just back up with the Lightning and secure this round. With 28 seconds left, he's probably not thinking they're not going to hit my side, right? Like they're not flanking, they're not going to do it with this little time left, and they end up doing it.
One of those game-changing rounds. Heretics right back into it. You still have the Lightning on Envoy, but that was a bad stun. I think his teammate tagged Lucky in the back of the head. Lightning now in, and it picks another. Poor Metals. Poor Metals hasn't played in the last 2 rounds, but they do get another kill right off the tail end of it. Then Envoy with a team kill. So it's still numbers to Heretics. You might have 2 rounds where you get kills from a streak. Kills you probably shouldn't have gotten, and you're still going to throw away the round.
It looked like Major Maniac was just one step ahead. He was a step ahead of the rest of his teammates. Methods has to be careful, does get caught out, so 2v2 now. I thought it was actually going to be Mox who got caught, but he's able to stay alive. The last bullet doesn't come through.
Yeah, when we switched off, I thought he was dead for sure when we hopped off him. Nice win. Maybe a little,
we're just throwing rounds.
Maybe a little revenge for Mox there from the round 1 where he lost his one-on-one in the 2v2 there. He's able to win it, secure Gen.G the round, and they get bailed out of what could have been another ugly one.
Yeah, I think on that push, they knew that all of Heretics were inside Orange Base, so I think they were just going to use their numbers and trade from out there, which I don't hate, I guess. I don't like it because you get a first blood, you have map position, you don't have to push the base. But I think Major Maniac's a step ahead, right? He jumps in that window. He's expecting someone to push up from the balcony side, and well, that was Spacely, but he got taken down from his teammate. So I think just a couple of small timings that don't go in their favor.
I thought Havoc was going off the map there for a second, but he's just able to hug the edge. First blood to Lucky and Heretics. They've got to rip off 4 straight if they're going to tie up this series. Havoc dancing like a ballerina with bullets. Lucky gets a 2nd kill in this round. Doubles up his total so far in this game, but leaving a mark here in round 8. Vortex with the trade, 2 versus 4, advantage Heretics. And we'll see what Spacely and Havoc try to do with this bomb. They do have a 2-on-1 right now with Vortex. Vortex wisely backs up.
Yeah, he does his job, gets the information. Now you have Journey and Methods watching the cross. Vortex now has a couple of players to deal with, able to find one on the Havoc.
Nice shot.
Helps his team, but yeah, great round from Vortex.
And it seems so simple, but just not challenging there.
Yeah.
Don't take the gunfight. Just 2 players, just back it up. Make sure you win the round. I mean, we've seen people in that spot that try to challenge, try to pick up one. Suddenly it's a 3v4 or 2v3. Things get ugly, but nice control there from Heretics with the advantage.
And you'd love to get a win, you know, on the board for like a guy like Vortex who new into the pro league. It's only a week, but I'm sure this is a much different environment. The talent that he's going up against.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. Nice pick from Journey. Another first blood for Heretics. Oh my God, the elevator slaughter. It's all Heretics there. It's Spacely at a 1v5. He's likely going right off. He sure is.
Now that was like a Heretics round to me. Like, I don't know. They're just like, yeah, fight us at elevator. Like, we're going to use our team.
Well, that first pick, like, I think it was just somebody trying to shoulder and just got beamed. And I don't know how the play of the game goes to Spacely. He gets 1 kill and jumps off the map.
It's a big kill. It's first blood.
Thanks, game. Spacely's undefeated streak at risk now. It's what, 4-5. What was the lead? Was it 4-1 or 5-1?
5-2.
5-2. Okay. Couldn't remember if it got to 5-1. Here we go. Fast again this time, though. The first blood to Gen.G. 3 kills come in. This is likely the final round. 1 player remaining. It's Vortex. Stun to the face. Backing up. Major Maniac has to deal with the stun as well, but Havoc is soaring in front of them. They close it out. Gen.G with Spacely still undefeated in Search and Destroy. It got maybe a little bit closer than they would have liked. Maybe a couple mistakes in the rounds in which they found the first bloods with the streaks, but for the most part, still looking strong.
Yeah, even a couple of the rounds towards that B site that we just saw as we take our scuff play of the game as our last round, you're going to see right here. I mean, Heretics, they make the right call. They 5-stack the correct bomb site. They're all here. It's what they want. You want a 5 versus 5, but the cluster comes through. Gen.G able to find all the kills and, well, seal the game.
Well, that was the scuff play of the game. The undefeated streak for Spacely plus Gen.G soars on. They seem to be a step above the rest. And hell, when you're winning a search, when you're making some mistakes and throwing away 5v3s, I guess you feel good when you're still able to do it in that kind of fashion. But too many clean rounds. The teamwork on point for Gen.G. They are up 2-0. We'll be right back with the control.
level up the game.
A Gen.G dominated series thus far, up 2-0 over Heretics. The woes for Heretics continue, and now, I mean, for me, this series is just about seeing how good Gen.G can be. Is this a team that can improve step by step and rival someone like 100 Thieves? Because they got to the final, but the final wasn't pretty. They played, what, did they play them 3 times, right?
3.
Played them 3 times, and some of the maps were close, but overall it was, what, 3-0, 3-0, 3-1, or 3-0, 3-1, 3-1, somewhere in that ballpark. Like, they were smoking them for the most part.
It was a lot to a little.
Yeah, it's just so hard. As much as, like, I'm excited about, like, LG and to see what Gen.G can do with this change and these new rosters, like, as much as I want to pick, I haven't picked Miami yet, but as much as I want to pick someone else, like,
100 Thieves is that
has
good.
anything convinced you that anyone is close to 100 Thieves? I feel the same way.
I thought it was United before Anaheim when they 3-0'd them. And just throughout the week, I don't know. But there hasn't been that like glimpse that I've seen.
I want to pick LG to win it all.
They have to get to playoffs first. I
want to pick them to win it so bad.
You're nervous about their first round matchup.
Yeah, I saw units pop up and I was like, oh, that just strikes me as like a Brat goes 30-10. They outslay by 30 and still lose hardpoint to units.
Yeah.
That just right when I looked at it, I think both of us were like, oh, that's not an easy round one matchup. But before we get to Miami, we got to wrap up our final 2 best of 5s, our final matches in Columbus, Ohio, here at the arena for the Pro League. Heretics have had no answer for the aggression, the pace, the skill of Gen.G, and you got to think this is another map, as it's been all frequency, that Gen.G can reign supreme.
Yeah, they're going to get this B site. You already have Major Maniac going towards A. Heretics are here, but a nice stun for Major Maniac will slow things down. And now, if they go down here, this could be a very fast round. Mox is top middle. Ooh, loses that one to Vortex. If he wins that, there's going to be no pressure through middle. Now Lucky able to find that. Havoc gets caught. This could have been a very quick round for Gen.G. They still have 2 ticks as Envoy finds 3 kills. Almost 4. Never mind, they just 2v5'd him. All right. It's going to be a very fast round anyways.
That's round 1.
That was a very fast round.
I might have said 10 words during that round.
I thought it was going to be, and then it was. Well, I thought it was, and then I thought that it wasn't, and then it was. Yeah,
the cluster and the SOG and Envoy killed everything, and that'll be the best play. We'll see it one more time. One of the quicker round 1s of any control you're ever going to see. A fantastic job in what, a 2v5. I think a third player came in, kind of a 3v5 type spot that they just slaughtered Heretics. And yeah, it's just those situations like around elevator with Havoc and Envoy. What are you gonna? You need 10 Heretics players, and even then, I don't know.
You don't know. Well, Major Maniac, he's working on some streaks. Envoy's already got 2. This can get scary. Heretics looked like they were trying to push top middle. It almost looked like they were touching B to try to get a rotation and then just go towards this elevator side, but all the kills go the way of Gen.G.
Oh no, now you can streak them.
Not yet. They're not going to commit one. All of them are inside orange base. That's a good play. If they can get more map position, you want to be inside of orange, at least towards this balcony to use those streaks.
I thought when I saw like 3-4 down, I'm like, oh no, it's going to start.
Well, we've seen that lately where like 3-4 go down, but then what ends up happening is you spawn, I think, a little closer up, like towards the back door. So the streak turns into nothing. You want to have someone at least on their
they're spawning really deep.
Yep.
Nice break back in from Heretics was a
swing it.
A nice advantage. Early has dwindled. Nice little swing in, but doesn't hit. I thought he was gonna get the 2 players there inside elevator, but comes up empty with it. About to be completed for Heretics. They're gonna get that done, and now the pressure on Gen.G to hold on the B side of the map. Spacely still waiting here. Takes his first gunfight, doesn't get cleaned up quite yet, tries to slide and challenge with the 2 Heretics members up to the task. Now on the other side of the map, Major Maniac and Havoc. They shut down the first wave from Heretics. That number 8's gotten all the way up towards window. That's Vortex now in a one-on-one with Spacely, who's trying to maybe alleviate some of the pressure towards B by applying their own pressure on the spawn of Gen.G. It's not working.
It's not working. Spacely, I thought that player was going to push him, but he was waiting for Journey. I mean, Vortex has been inside of blue for so long, but hasn't done anything. Metals is going to open things up. He's going to put some pressure onto the B side. Couple of kills go down, but it's still Gen.G on top.
Only 50 seconds remaining too, and you have those 3 streaks. So if you really want to close out this round, it feels almost impossible for Heretics to win this unless you get some massive streak blunders.
Which
you might have just had one.
I'm not sure if Major Maniac was trying to catch players off spawn, maybe just trying to get information about where Heretics were.
A money cluster from Envoy yet again nets him a kill. 2 Lightnings remaining is all they've got, but now sub 30 seconds on the clock, and Heretics have got to work some magic, down 6 lives. On this map, you just need one big break, but Envoy wants none of it. He's 13-4 on another wondrous streak. 4 in a row for him. Flank from Major Maniac M. Peekaboo up top, but the trade might be there eventually. I think Envoy kind of lost him in the fray. I don't think they're going to, well, yeah, they'll be able to touch it from top mid. So they're going to get in. They're going to get in. Everybody coming off spawn, 7v4.
You could just use one streak or one specialist. I mean, you have all your specialists out there going to use a lightning. They're going to keep them off of it, and that might just do the round based on the lightning. Yep.
Well, that's why when I saw 3 streaks and 48 seconds left, I was like, you'd have to really, really, really screw up here with your streaks to not win this round. And you're thinking if you're Gen.G, we win this defense, we smoke the living hell out of on offense, we win this series. So far, so good for Gen.G. We'll see if they can wrap up this series 3-0, wrap up this control 3-0.
You take a look at the top. I mean, all your specialists are coming online for Gen.G. On the other side, because that first round was so short and you got dominated. You don't have anything on the side of Heretics.
Want to hear how good your Sogs have been, Joe?
Yeah.
Mox has 1 kill and we're in the 3rd round.
He's got 2 now. And
they're up 2-0. Like, dude. Well, I mean, okay, I said Sogs, but Maddox is, I mean, Major Maniac's 13-4 as well.
The fast guys.
Yeah, he's been going toe-to-toe with Envoy. Envoy now going to use the War Machine. That's the shot melee with the War Machine.
I thought he was going to double punch him. That's what I thought at first.
You have the TAC 5 on Spacely at your disposal as well, and he's going to throw that into the mix. Now they find an opening over towards B as Mox gets a kill top middle. 2 drop for Heretics. 1 bit done at A. The second about to be done at B. Heretics just spread thin across the map right now. They're going to have to give up B. And the problem is you're going to have, what, over 2 minutes to work with. A 4-life advantage.
And Havoc in your base.
And Havoc about to have a grab slam as well. And he's going to make it so hard for them to get anywhere near the point. I mean, there's 1 free pick. Second one challenges him. Third, what, you want to die too? Maybe lucky he didn't get spotted. Well, now it's really easy pickings for Havoc, who's likely a chance to get streaks. Not going to matter, though. Major Maniac holding the edge with the Tempest. Their offenses were brilliant. All 3 game modes solid from Gen.G. And one of the more comprehensive and dominant 3-0s we've seen this year. Gen.G come out and annihilate Heretics.
They handled business this week, 4-0.
But that's what, like, so when I argued on Trading Shots about what I want to see from Optic, like, that is what I wanted to see from Optic. Like, you play a team you're supposed to beat. You look good. You look the better team in all the modes. Like, that is what I want to see from a team going into Miami. There's the example.
Oh, I agree with you.
It looked easy. They controlled it. They dominated it. Just at no point did I think Heretics was winning that series. And with Heretics form and Gen.G, if they are a top 2-3 team, that is how that series should go. Props to Gen.G. That was a 40-minute series.
Double thumbs up from Maven.
Yeah. I get home, do laundry and pack, and I head back to Dallas tomorrow.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
I haven't been home in ages.
I'm not sure what that...
I'm excited to see my girlfriend and my puppy Copper.
Not sure how that... Yeah, okay.
Well, the faster the series go, the faster I get home and do all those things.
But the next one's going to be fun.
That's true. Well, it's going to be a game 5, more than likely, with how everything's been going for Optic. But we'll see. That'll be the next series, Optic United. But before we get there, we'll kick it over to the desk. Katie, it's all you.
Thank you, Maven, and not too much trouble there for Gen.G, 3-0ing Heretics, getting a yawn out of Pac-Man. And, I mean, really, that seemed like a breeze for Gen.G. Pac.
The Heretics, they stink. We were talking about it before, like, so if you look at the 8 teams that have made it to the guaranteed playoff bracket, Heretics right now is by far the worst.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I think Luminosity and EG look a million times better than them.
Yeah, I mean, EG's in the play-in bracket.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
The teams, some teams in the play-in bracket look miles better than Heretics right now.
LG, EG, E6, all of those teams look better. Yeah, the Heretics have a lot of work to do in a really short time.
Think they're regretting their change?
I don't know. Probably. Definitely. I don't know. You're going on 4, something you don't expect. But to go on with what Maven said, it's like when you playing against one of these top dog teams, you expect a clean sweep like that. The way Gen.G was just able to handle that series. But on that first map, it was all the SOG duo. It was Envoy and Havoc just dominating that entire map. But like they were both like 33 and 19 at a point, destroying. And then obviously the S&D, they went up in a 4-1, brought it back to a 4-3, ended up closing it out 6-4. But even that control, that first round, I'm pretty sure was like 20 seconds. Like Heretics have to basically start from the bottom, man. Like I don't understand what kind of information you have over this week, like since you've been playing all these really good teams, but
you just got to go back and watch the matches.
Back and just watch.
Try to get better, right? Like you also got to watch your team from previous events.
Yeah.
This is what we used to do. Why aren't we doing it anymore? Like, what's the issue here? Why is our teamwork off? And you need to identify that and fix that. Very short time. You have like 10 days. This is imperative.
The frustrating part is, yeah, this is a short time, but they've had a whole entire league to progress, to go forward for the first time ever, to play against all these top American teams. You saw what worked and what didn't. They tried Methods running an AR before. His stats got better, but the team was terrible. 0-3 at Fort Worth and pools. Then they qualify after he switches back. And then you make a roster change and then revert back to what you saw didn't work after months.
This
weeks.
is the worst.
12 weeks of Pro League.
This is the worst.
Why did you revert back to something you know didn't work and then drop someone who was extremely talented? And this is the worst iteration of this.
It is weird because Heretics at one point, like, I kept talking about how they didn't make roster changes and they just kept trying to improve and they got top 8. I'm like, okay, Heretics, top 8 at a tournament. Then they got top 6. I'm like, okay. Then they get top 8 again and I'm like, okay, maybe that's like their threshold, just top 6. We'll see if they can put it together going into the next, big events. And then after all that time keeping your team, you make a change. And I'm like, okay, maybe they're going to make a sick change here, get rid of Methods, who we've been harping on all season long, and then they get rid of Sucre, who is a beast. Like, I just don't have any sympathy for him at this point.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely tough when you've had so much time, and it seems like a lot of the time they are their own worst enemies in the decisions that they are making. We'll see if they can in the next week and a half or so until Miami puts something together to survive there. But speaking of Miami, speaking of playoffs, again, we have one more series to close out Pro League here in Columbus. And to that note, when we head over to Miami, I have a question for you guys. Kind of the question, who do you think is going to win playoffs? And Study, I'm going to start with you first.
Why are you going to start with me? But it's all right. I'm going to choose Gen.G. I know everybody's going to come look at me like, look, just
Basically
like that.
is the answer.
I'm just going to choose Gen.G, man.
Octane.
Hey, I'm not going off of Patty P's tweet. I'm thinking Gen.G is going to be able to put up a great fight in that playoffs because they're coming off of, well, Spacely's obviously feels tremendous after being back on this team. And they go 4-0 this week. You got to be feeling really good after only a week practice with the guy. But overall, I just feel like Gen.G, no one's going to be rooting for them, so I will be the person.
All right, well, I'll end up blonde at champs.
That's fine. If they win, I will dye my hair. If they win, I will dye my hair. I'll match them.
Yeah.
I'll be blonde, he'll be blonde.
Boys literally driving back to New York with him and stuff.
Hey, what's your team, man?
What is your team, man?
It was a long time ago. I was trading shots. I was going up against Nameless. 100 Thieves was just getting body bagged. Remember this?
Yeah.
I said, by this time, 100 Thieves is going to win playoffs.
Okay.
And you were like, what? I'm losing full. I'm losing full. That's what you said. Oh my God.
Have they won playoffs yet?
Are you crazy?
Are they haven't won
Are they not the clear favorite?
I mean, they are. But they haven't won.
100 Thieves is going to win playoffs.
Okay.
Simply because I predicted it.
Okay, so simply because he predicted it.
And you acted like a buffoon.
But I know who's going to win.
Buffoon.
All right, Nameless. Who do you think then?
Envy is going to win playoffs.
That's a knee slapper, bros.
Nice. Good pick. Because I know who you want to say.
We do know who he wants to say.
Envy's going to win playoffs.
You just don't want me to be right.
Yeah.
All right, Envy.
Envy's going to win. They're going to
used to that by now. How right I have
been. Okay, so we got Envy. We're going to be blonde if we go with Gen.G, and then you're going with 100 Thieves. All right. Yeah. Let's see what Twitter had to say using the hashtag CWLPS4. We asked you that same question from Remy. Gen.G, the addition of Spacely and some practice is what can finally push them over the edge.
That's what I'm talking about, Remy. We're on the same page there, buddy. Hopefully you decide to dye your hair blonde just like me if they win.
Okay.
Talk about
From Aaron, if Optic can get past 100T, they will win. But it all comes down to that matchup if it does end up happening. Well, that would be how they would win.
Optic looks pretty retro. They don't look good right now.
I mean, yeah, but they do have the talent to win.
Yeah,
they do.
Absolutely.
I feel like if they did beat 100 Thieves at a tournament, that would.
I think that the setup of playoffs
Salad,
is a good tournament.
100T after the past 2 weeks, no one can argue that any other team in the game look better. They've looked incredible.
They have.
That's facts.
Back to Optic Point, I think like that just bracket 8-team format is a good format for a team like Optic Gaming. Win like 2 matches, get in a great situation. Like they've always seemed to be pretty good in those type of tournaments.
Okay.
Okay.
scump in the history.
You are giving him nothing.
No, because he's just saying things that
he is just saying
he's just saying words that I know he doesn't believe. He's just saying things that have very little meaning.
Okay.
In the bracket, if they're in the bracket, they do well in the bracket.
I mean, historically, like, when they get pretty far in the bracket, they do well. Like, a lot of times, like, in those big tournaments, they're, like, knocked out in groups, so they're getting destroyed on like, early Saturday. So, we'll see. We'll see.
We will see. All right.
It's going to be Envy that wins anyways.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't even matter.
They got to make it to the playoff.
You can see our schedule. One more series, United and Optic Gaming. Coming up next after a quick little break. But again, Gen.G making easy work of Heretics. A very, very quick 3-0 to end their perfect week, 4-0 overall. But again, coming back, we are going to be talking about United and Optic Gaming.